Hi guys, I'm Clockwork, and this is Social Hackers podcast number 3. And today we're going to be talking about hacking voicemail systems. With me, I have Shadow Drifter and Saf, or I really don't know how to pronounce your actual full username, but
Uh, Forget it. Just call me Ian.
okay, Ian. So yeah, we have Ian here. We're going to talk about hacking voicemail systems. So, um, Ian has done a lot of voicemail hacking, and I've seen him do some with us on Skype before. Well, not really like seen him physically, but you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, you want to talk about something?
Oh yeah, I mean, the prime example here that we're both going to be talking about is the one where with the person that we didn't like locally or whatever, and we decided to pretty much f up his world, pretty much.
Yeah.
And what happened is that we all decided that hey, let's mess with somebody, and we first started off as like just get his name and number and all that, and then they're like, oh, you can't get their social security number. I was like, challenge accepted. So what happened was that we called them, and I pretended to be tier four. Mind you, there is no such thing as tier four guys in any tech support. Um, yeah, and I
Tier
pretended to
4.
be Agent John Smith with AT&T, and I instantly have to speak to his mother as he is one of the minors of the account, so he's not able to actually interact with the account. That's the first step where you have to know the policies of the company is that you're not allowed to speak to the minor if they're on the account. You have to speak directly to the owner of the account, which was his mother. So I asked to speak with his mother. Mind you, I was still on the contact with his cell phone through Google Voice. Um, and at that point, I had to I went over the situation about how that his account was flagged for uh, wrongful messages and all that of child pornography or whatever extreme excuse you want to use, rape threats, bomb threats, life threats. You get the point of whatever I'm trying to assume here. And with that, then you have to then talk your way into pretty much their mind by throwing all these high technical terms over their head. For example, in one part of the conversation, I say, start quote, your voicemail is no longer set up properly as the hackers had exploited it, which your voicemail cell phone no longer has root access. Yes, root access. So therefore,
Got
we have to
it.
verify your information. End quote. And with that, once I got to that point where she totally believed me and all that, mind you, she worked for AT&T herself, the help desk section, so like tier one, or even before that. So yeah, and with that part, then you have the option of whatever information you want: the cell phone, address, emails. You could reset their password technically if you wanted to. Social security number of both the owner and the co-owner, which I got her husband's not email, but social security number, even though I didn't ask for it. Got hers, her husband's, and
Basically,
their
just gave it to
address.
you. Just
Yeah,
like
they just gave.
straight up.
I didn't ask for it. She gave it to me for whatever reason. And with that, and once you have the information and all that, and the ability to know what you're doing and not being nervous, you have to play the part. You have to, as in, since I was calling it like 1 o'clock in the morning where they live, I had to put on like a real nerdy accent and all that. So here's the accent I use. Yeah, man. The problem is with your cell phone is that your voicemail. There's like this new exploit for our phones here, and we've been trying to work it out, but there's no real solution. You gotta like play as in like he's nervous, he's tired. You gotta play the part at the time. And if you want to be a manager, you have to sound real confident, professional, and all that. You have
Yeah.
to play the part if you want the person to believe you. It's like acting, voiceovers. If you want to be Scooby Doo, you have to say, "Ruh-roh, Scraggy, we've got a problem." You can't say,
What the fuck?
"Oh yes, Mr. Scraggy, we have a problem. We have a monster on the loose." No, that's not Scooby Doo. That's fucking Mr. whatever his name is, some business guy. So you
What?
have to play the part, or it just won't work. That's part of social engineering itself. You have to be able to manipulate people's stereotypes. Say if you're a person from India, you have to be able to at least play the accent a little bit. I can't do that. I'm terrible at accents, but overall, if you're able to manipulate someone's deception of you to a point where you have full control, even though it feels like to them they have control, you are in the door basically. You have the key. They gave you the key. You've taken out the lock, and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go repair this door, and then you're fully open here. You can do whatever you want. If I wanted to, I no, I actually did. I got her to call back to the real AT&T place to reset their number. Mind you, this is at 1 o'clock in the morning. Got the lady to all information, reset her phone number, and got them to reboot the phone 6 times. Turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on 6 times. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's basically the example that we're talking about here.
Yeah, and it's all really like the first minutes like of the conversation, as you said, like,
You've got
uh,
to set it up in their minds.
yeah, like, I mean, if you play the part and you say, "Oh yeah, I'm such and such," and you stick to that the entire time, they're gonna be like, "Okay, well, this is such and such from, AT&T." They're not gonna think, like, I mean, think about it. Okay, you get a call from someone, and they're like, "Oh, I'm, John Smith from AT&T." Are you gonna immediately assume that they're, this hacker trying to get your information, or are you just gonna be like, "Oh, well, it's probably them." I mean, there's a good chance that you're gonna think that, okay, yeah, it's someone from AT&T calling about something on my phone. So I mean, that's where a lot of people don't really get it. They're like, how did that work? And you think, well, from their perspective, that's, it seems right.
And from their or perspective, they also got to think who's going to try to hack me at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you
Yeah,
can also play on the fact that if they're not good with computers, throw super high technical words like root access, kernel, voice. That makes no sense to us, but to them makes perfect sense.
yeah. I mean, I suppose you could get root access to a phone, but I mean,
But that's
I
ultimately
mean,
just knowing the PIN number.
yeah. Um, and so that's the main thing that we want to talk about today, though, was like just getting into the voicemail. Obviously, you can say, well, I'm from AT&T, and something's happened. We need your voicemail password.
And that's the most easiest complex way to do it.
Yeah, and so yeah, just social engineering over the phone, getting information is one way, but then of course, you have to use the information to actually get into the phone, which, well, really is for voicemails is what we're going to talk about today.